Good evening. My name is Nichelle Wilson. I am the Neighborhood Training and Development Program Manager with the City of Charlotte's Community Engagement Division. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you all taking your time out to learn a little bit more about Charlotte Water and the work that they do. Tonight's presentation will go for about an hour or so. We'll have a few presenters, and then you'll have an opportunity to ask questions, and we'll answer questions at the end of the presentation. If you look at the bottom of your screen, there should be a Q&A button, and you can utilize the Q&A button to type in your questions. You can type in your questions at any time, and then like I said, at the end, we'll come back to the questions and answer the questions. If you have any concerns, you can also type them in the chat. If you need us to follow up with anything, if there's something that we need to look into, you can type that information in the chat. This session is being recorded, and so the session will be available on our Training on Demand site, and I will put that in the chat. That site, it'll be available on that site in about 2 weeks. And so I have the pleasure of introducing some of my colleagues from around the city. So first, from Charlotte Water, we have Veronica Hart. Yep, I knew I was going to mess it up. We have Veronica from Charlotte Water, and we have Anjanelle Poole, also from Charlotte Water. From CharMeck 311, we have Lynette McCullum and Keisha Brinkley and Sorrel Cardoza. So we thank you all. I apologize if I butchered your name, but I thank you all for joining, and they're going to share just a wealth of knowledge about Charlotte Water, the work that they do, and then also how CharMeck 311 supports Charlotte Water in the work that they do. So I am going to share my screen, and then we will get started. I will turn it on over to Veronica.
Thank you so much, Nichelle, and thank you to both you and Housing and Neighborhood Services, and obviously CharMeck for being here, and all the attendees. I'm excited to present to you tonight a bit about Charlotte Water. And so a quick presentation overview. I'm going to go through some stats and facts about us, and then focus in a bit more about drinking water, wastewater and sewer system awareness, and then some aspects about resident and community engagement, some questions you might have, things that come to mind as a customer and resident, and how to stay in touch with us. Alrighty, so just a quick overview about our water system. Obviously, we get our water from somewhere. So Charlotte Water, we bring our water in from the Catawba Watery Watershed and in Lake Norman and Mountain Island Lake. And there's quite a bit, as you can see in the graphic, that there's quite a bit to the Charlotte Water journey, right? That water infrastructure is connected throughout our whole city, and we do lots of different things to help be active water stewards and serve the community as Charlotte Water. So we have treatment plants and a lot of things underground, pipes and valves, a lot of things above ground like hydrants and water tanks. And we serve about 1.1 million people across the region. This is just a fun picture to show that before some of these things go in the ground, that these are massive pipes. We also have much smaller pipes, but that's all to say, in order to provide the services we do across the vast region that we do, we have a lot of infrastructure. And we have about 1,000 full-time positions and 580 active water, sewer, and water and sewer accounts. And we serve not only the city of Charlotte, but Mecklenburg County and surrounding towns, such as Davidson, Cornelius, Huntersville, Pineville, Mint Hill, and Matthews. We have 7 wastewater treatment plants and 3 drinking water treatment plants, and then operations facilities and other facilities all across this service area. Well, in order to do all of that, right, we are pumping a lot, not just pumping water, but we are pumping money and jobs into the region. And so according to a recent economic study, every dollar spent by Charlotte Water represents $17.70 in economic growth for the region. And that would be in water dependent industries and directly related other, directly related projects. And speaking of projects, we have approximately 120 water and wastewater projects ongoing for the next 5 years. Obviously, we are conducting maintenance all over, all the time, but we are also planning and expanding, right, as Charlotte grows. And we all know Charlotte is growing, both in population and in industry. We have to meet that need. As a resident as well, you may be passing by one of these projects, or they may be directly impacting your neighborhood. On our website, we have extensive details about different projects and individual projects on our construction pages. So I welcome everyone, if you have any questions or further kind of things you'd like to learn about specific projects, you can visit our projects page and find the projects that are on there, as well as please keep an eye and read. I had a mailer, but I get mailers when there's a project in my area that's quite large, or we're sending out an announcement. So please take the time to take a look at those. If you're getting it in the mail, I guarantee there's some information in there for you specifically as to why we sent it out. All right, I'm going to hop into drinking water quality a bit. I won't go through this graphic in fine-grained detail, but it's here to provide some detailed information to you and to also represent that there's quite a lot that goes in to treating and distributing our water all the way from the source water to our homes and businesses across Charlotte, right? We provide the industry best standards for our treatment at the plant and then throughout the distribution system as well. We have over 300 field sampling stations and conduct quite a bit of tests I'll talk about more. So our laboratory conducts over 175,000 analyses annually, and that is for a variety of substances, many of them regulated, about 150 are regulated, and then over 740 unregulated substances. So we are focusing on everything that we can to ensure great water quality here in Charlotte. A little bit more about the water system. So we have the capacity to pump 174 million gallons a day. But right now we're pumping about 110 million gallons a day. So that's a lot of drinking water, a lot of potable water throughout our 4 pressure zones and our 4,400 or 4,500 approximately miles of water mains. And we do have about 300,000 active water connections right now and almost 18,000 hydrants. Alrighty, and so recently our annual water quality report went out. If you did not receive it, well, I hope everyone received it. We mailed it out to everyone, but if you didn't read it, it's available online. And a little bit more about that mailer in particular, it's a summary of the Consumer Confidence Report, which is a state and federal requirement that goes into fine-grained detail about all those different things I was mentioning that we test for and how we monitor for them and why they're important. So we definitely highly recommend you check that information out and read it when you receive it in the mail. And then if you want more details, we have multiple web pages on our website about water quality FAQs and all sorts of different things. But the main gist of that report was that we had 0 violations in the last year, and we're very proud of that. And very proud that our facilities are meeting and exceeding these standards set by the government. Alrighty, so we'll speak about wastewater and then also some things you can do some practices you can have in your community and home to help be active plumbing stewards. Just as with the drinking water graphic that I showed, the wastewater treatment process is complex and advanced, and we do everything to meet and exceed industry standards. All of our wastewater treatment plants are award-winning. They also have had no violations in the last year, and so we're very excited about that. And that's all to say, there's a lot that goes into the wastewater treatment. When you flush your toilet or the water that goes down the drain after you shower, we are working very hard, not only just at the plant, but everything between your home, the plant, and the creeks to make sure that water is getting treated to the highest standard and that infrastructure is maintained across our whole system. And just a quick note, our stormwater infrastructure and our sanitary sewers are separate infrastructures in the sense that they are not combined. Like in New York, for instance, they feed into the same system. That is all to say as well, we do want to protect our surface water that goes into the stormwater drains. So that would be from trash, pollution, anything like that. But my main focus today in my talk will be about our sewer system specifically, and our wastewater that comes from our houses and businesses into that system. Both are gravity fed, and there's a bit of difference in the regulatory aspect of it. All right, so a sewer spill. A sewer spill is when wastewater escapes the collection system. So these are not good. We are aiming to prevent them, mitigate them as soon as they've been reported or observed. And obviously we work very, very hard to function in a preventative way to prevent what are called blockages. And one of the main causes of blockages are these wipes you see on the right-hand side that are called flushable often. Although they do physically fit down the toilet hole, they do not break down in the wastewater distribution system, and they often combine with roots, other debris. You know, your child flushes some toys down the toilet, you know, things that get in there that shouldn't be in there, right? And then roots are also a leading cause. Although we have seen a decreased amount of sanitary sewer overflows over time, we are, you know, still aiming to prevent them as much as possible. And that's something that residents can absolutely do in your best practices at home by freezing and cooling grease and throwing it in the trash, scraping it out, not putting it in the drain, as well as making sure those wipes, if you should use them in your home, to please dispose of them in the trash. Alrighty, so before I hop into all of these slides, I'm going to go through some tips and tricks and some, you know, key pieces of information about how residents are getting information from us, how to relay information back to us, and then some more household kind of tips and tricks for your plumbing. So one of the first ones is that we recently launched a system called Charlotte Water Alerts. And if you are a bill holder, your contact information is already in this system, and it is being used for planned and unplanned outages and construction alerts, such as a detour, or if there was an emergency in your neighborhood, you would be opted into that. However, if you're a tenant in an apartment complex like me and you do not receive a direct bill, or someone in your household, you are not the primary account holder, you'll have to register yourself. And one thing that's interesting about this is you can register more than one location. So let's say I help take care of my mother or my grandmother, or I run a business. You can also register additional locations that you desire to receive those alerts for. And that would be manually entered as well. And you go on our website, click on alerts, slide please. And then this web page here will give you all sorts of you know, more details if you would like about our FAQs and things like that. But when I signed up personally, it only took a few minutes and I've been able to receive the alerts no problem to my phone.
Hey, Veronica, do you mind if I jump in there?
Yep, of course.
Awesome. Again, hello, everyone. My name is Ajanelle, and I just kind of wanted to share a little more information about the alert system. This is, like Veronica mentioned, this is something we launched last year. We're kind of in the pilot phase for it as we you know, work on our messaging. But the initial idea around these Charlotte Water alerts were to provide more timely and accessible information to our customers about impacts to the water system. So again, those are water outages, like Veronica mentioned, whether they're planned or unplanned due to construction, or, you know, there was a break or a water main leak or something like that. We want to be able to provide customers with the most, you know, accurate, timely information because, you know, although we use Nextdoor and our social media channels to put information out, a lot of times customers are on the go, they're coming home from work, they're picking up kids, they're at dinner. So we use, like Veronica mentioned, customer information to send either a call, a text, or an email. to provide you guys with information that you'll need to know about how long the outage might be, when the repair should be completed, when water is back on, any additional steps you might need to take. So this is a very exciting tool that we launched, again, like I said, recently, as direct feedback we heard from customers that wanted to know what they should do, how they, told us exactly how they want to get information. Like Veronica said, we typically use customer information, but if you're a renter, if you're a tenant, if you're a property manager, you're a Charlotte Water customer, maybe not a bill account holder, you'll need to go online and register, sign up to get these alerts. So just a little more information. Again, we're still in the pilot phase, working out some messaging, adding some more multilingual access to our messaging. So definitely looking for feedback from the community. Also when you're not, these are for outages that happen in certain areas. So if there's never a water main break, if there's never a construction project in your area, just because you don't get a message doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that you weren't need to get any additional information at that time. So like Veronica said, this information is on the website, and if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to 311 for additional information. Thank you. Sorry, Veronica.
No, thank you so much, Ajna. That's all very useful information. Now, briefly, I'm going to go over some tips and tricks about understanding your bill. One of the main things here is that we do charge on a tiered system. So the more you use, the more you pay. And we do this and measure it in a CCF, which most people don't necessarily know what a CCF is. And that's an abbreviation for 100 cubic feet, which translates into 748 gallons. The average user uses about 7 CCF per month, and that equates to approximately $68. Those statistics were from our last year's report, so that might have changed just a little bit, but that's the general message. And I will note that we do have extensive details on our website, multiple pages of rate and billing information, how to navigate your bill, the payment portal I'll mention in a minute. And of course, when you've exhausted those resources and tools, 311 is our liaison and support system in this regard, and can provide a variety of assistance for you as well if you have a very specific question. Now, this graphic is a little bit busy, but I want to direct your attention to the left-hand top blue bar. So in that section there's going to be detailed messages that we change every so often to alert them to you. For instance, when we mail the water quality report, we put an announcement in there. Please keep an eye out for your water quality report. So that message in there will change, and we do try to provide timely and important details about various things in there. So if you receive your bill, please make note of that box. You can also see that you can track your use over time with the bar graph section. And so that, in my opinion, is quite important in case if you see an anomaly for any reason. And I'll talk about household leaks in a minute, but keeping an eye on your water bill and understanding your average use per month, or kind of your annual cycle. Obviously, a lot of people use more water in the summer months because of irrigation for their lawns or pools or things like that, or watering. But kind of knowing what your household is using on average and noticing if there's an anomaly is a good sign that you have a leak and you may need to address it. On the right-hand side, we do break out the information into water, sewer, and stormwater, and then your totals are at the bottom. And then just as I mentioned, I know that there can be a lot of questions regarding the payment portal. We do have extensive resources on our website and a lot of FAQs. So again, I recommend exhausting these resources and tools, even using the search function on our website, I think can be a useful way. I know we have a lot of web pages and a lot of information. It's a good thing, but sometimes might be a little bit challenging to navigate. Once you've exhausted these resources and navigated, as I mentioned, and our wonderful 311 is here. They are definitely the line of support in this aspect as well. They will be able to provide or connect you to the resource that you need. All right, one quick note is that for a homeowner, you actually do have a responsibility up until, generally we say up until the meter box, and anything on the other end will be our responsibility. And so keeping in mind for your leaks, for your sewer practices and everything like that, that there are issues within the household or within that private side is your homeowner responsibility, that you would need to contact a plumber. But anything that's happening in the street, and I'll talk a little bit more about public leaks in a moment, but also keeping in mind, I work a lot in education and outreach, and one of the things that is the hat I wear a lot is to talk to people about your role in plumbing stewardship, not just in your own home, but in your community, and remembering that the things, your practices in your house are impacting the city as a whole and the community as a whole. So please keep in mind, keeping up your sewer practices and water practices in your household, but also how that might affect your neighbors and your community and those surrounding you. And one thing we do as well is help try to empower you at home to be able to address some of those pesky household leaks. Like I said, checking your bill if there's an anomaly, being able to find your shutoff valve in case of emergency. And in this year, we participated pretty heavily in the EPA's Fix a Leak Week. And so one tip I'll share from that series of information was that if you think you have a leaky toilet that's silent, you can use a coloring dye and put it in the back of the toilet tank. And if after 15, 20 minutes, there's color in the tank, it's very likely you have a leak. We also can provide you with these dye tabs that go in the back, but this is a trick at home if you don't have a tab. Keeping an eye on O-rings, they were calling them faulty flappers. So obviously making sure those flappers in those toilets get replaced every couple years, making sure they're not cracked or leaky. Those kinds of things really can impact. You'd be surprised as those small drops really do add up, both from a waste perspective, but from a financial perspective as well. And then one thing, is that we and 311 field calls related to leaks that are appearing in the street. And so we do encourage residents to call in leaks that they're seeing. And we do note that leaks are prioritized different. And we are addressing a variety of leaks at any given time. And just for your awareness, that some of the leaks will be considered minor, and those are slow, not necessarily visible property damage, things that may take less of a precedence over a big emergency leak like you see in the top left that is flooding the street, causing property damage, clearly of a major concern we have to get to right away. So there's tiers we have to address that as our field operations staff are working 24/7 to address them. Slide, please. So in last year, we addressed over 3,000 leaks. Many of them were small leaks in service lines, but as I mentioned, our folks in field operations are on call on the job 24/7, 365, addressing leaks. So as they're coming in, we're aiming to address them as quickly and as responsibly as possible. And a few more details about how and when to get in touch. And so as we worked on the Charlotte Water Alert, some of this information is now complemented or maybe I won't say redundant, but I think the Charlotte Water Alerts kind of buckets quite a few of them. However, you can find some details on Nextdoor. So if you're a member on Nextdoor, we do put out neighborhood as specific as possible, neighborhood regions for details of things like outages, detours, etc. You can also call 311. And then you're going to get many shout outs here. 311. If you see or suspect a leak in your neighborhood, you're going to be calling 311 as well, and they will help field the call and get that to the appropriate parties, to our dispatch and field operations. And then, as I mentioned, keeping an eye on your bill is important, and then checking for leaks at home, just some tips there. And then again, I'll redirect you back to the project page on our website. There is a lot of information, very detailed information about very specific, all those big and small projects we're working on. And as you're driving by many of those projects, you might see a sign that gives the name of it, or those mailers. I just got one recently for a nearby project. If I want to learn more, I can go to the pages there and learn about what phase they're in, or hey, which intersection might be coming through soon. And so that's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. I think I have just 1 or 2 more slides. All right, so please follow us on social media. We do try to post, keep up to date. I follow Housing and Neighborhood Services. We're trying to keep up to date with other city organizations as well, but you will see us out and about in public when it's safe to do so. So this spring we did a few events. We are participating in public workshops, neighborhood association events and things like that. But if you would like to stay up to date with some of our more fun information, or that Fix a Leak Week, things like that, please follow us on social media. And I'm gonna say thank you and then bounce it to our friends at 311. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Veronica. Everyone just bear with me really quick and I will share 311's presentation, and then we will get you all's questions right after they are finished presenting. So 311, I will turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Nichelle, and also thank you, Veronica, one for inviting us to this event, so we had the opportunity to provide information on how we support Charlotte Water, and also just to be able to discuss some of the services that we provide as well. So some of the items that we will cover will just to be, what is 311, what do we do? Just some different ways that we assist residents related to Charlotte Water, and also different ways that the community and residents can interact with 311 in general. So just a little bit about us. My name is Lynette McCallum. I also have Cyril Cardoza and Keisha Brinkley with me today, and we are the partner liaison team. So we work directly with Charlotte Water just to ensure that we have the correct business processes for their staff. And we also provide information regarding any special events or any mailings or communications that may come out. So we try to provide that information as well, just in case if we get any questions or if we get any calls related, just needing clarification about information, we provide that to the residents that call in to 311. So just a little bit about 311. Next slide, please. We are the customer service contact center where we partner with different departments within the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. Some of those departments include solid waste services, housing and neighborhood services, stormwater, and even the Mecklenburg County tax office, just to name a few, some of the ones that we are core partners. We do about 1 million calls a year. We have about 100 staff members, which includes about 62 customer service representatives who take calls on a daily basis. One of the things that we do is we do strive to be kind of a one-stop shop or a one contact interaction where residents are able to, we're able to connect residents with different departments of the city of Charlotte and Mecklenburg County. And we try to do that with seamless service so that we, like we said, we're a one-stop shop and be able to handle the customers or residents inquiries. So we work very closely with our Charlotte Water liaison. So next we'll discuss the different ways on how we support Charlotte Water.
Good evening, everyone. This is Cyril Cardoza with CharMeck 311. I'm here just to speak on different ways that we assist residents related to Charlotte Water. One of which would be with regards to the billing for their customers. Anytime anyone has a question regarding their billing, they can dial 311 And we have representatives 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday that are available to assist with their questions regarding billings. Also, if they need some type of payment arrangement, we also provide that information and assistance over the phone. And again, if they have questions related to how to read their bill, we can also assist with that. Another way that we assist customers of Charlotte Water and residents is anytime that they need to open up a new account, either they're moving into Charlotte or they're moving to a different address in Charlotte, they can call us and we can go ahead and open up a new account, set up new services. And this is for residential or commercial customers. Again, that is anytime during our business hours of operation. Also, anyone that is wanting to report a leak, if they're driving by a city street or anywhere in Charlotte or outside of Charlotte, in one of the other areas of Mecklenburg County, they can call 311 and report a leak. They can also, if it's happening outside of their home, or if this is something that's, occurring in their neighborhood, they can call 311 and we can assist by entering that leak type request, and it'll be forwarded over to Charlotte Water, to the field operations, for them to come out and investigate. And then also any other type of assistance that a customer of Charlotte Water may need, or a resident, any general question regarding their account or their service at their residence or commercial property, they can call us again during our business hours of operation, and we can provide that general assistance over the phone. If they need assistance or information regarding any type of assistance agency, they can call 311 and we can provide that information. We do have staff that is bilingual, and so we do have representatives there to assist in other languages. Majority of them are Spanish, that they can assist in Spanish, but we do have a language line where if someone is calling in, a customer or potential customer is calling in that doesn't speak English or Spanish, we have that language line that we can use to assist with the translation of the services.
So my name is Keisha Brinkley, and I'm just going to talk about ways that you can interact with 311. So as my coworkers, as well as our partners in Charlotte Water, have mentioned, that we can be reached via phone Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. You can reach us by phone by dialing 304-336-7600, or you can dial 311 from your cell phone. Sometimes there may be some issues with some of the telephone companies, but if you're not able to dial the 311, you can still dial that 10-digit number. You can also reach out via the Charlotte Plus app, the CLT Plus mobile app, that can be found either on Apple or on Android phone devices, as well as tablets. You can reach us as well through the website at charlottenc.gov, as well as we do have live chat. So some of our representatives who answer calls also take live chats, and to reach the live chat, you would just go to any of the charlottenc.gov web pages, and there is a link that allows you to chat live with one of our representatives. Now, I did want to go back to the charlottenc.gov with regards to need a speaker. If you would like for CharMeck 311 to come out to any type of community event, you can reach us at charlottenc.gov. There is a place that's called Need a Speaker. And when you put that in, when you click on that link, it will allow you to enter information to request not only CharMeck 311, but any city or county department. You can put that in there, and We will get that request and we will reach out to you, or someone from whichever department that you're requesting will reach out. As well, CharMeck 311 has a speakers bureau team. So anytime that you do put in a need a speaker request for CharMeck 311, we do have a team. That team is consistent of various staff members who go out into the community, and we provide information about 311. Whether it's Charlotte Water, we've been to Charlotte Water events where we've also helped residents and customers with whether it's a payment arrangement or understanding their bill, or even how to navigate the citizen web portal. So you can definitely reach out to us via the web, via phone call. We have several different options. So feel free to reach out to us. We are here to assist you, and we are more than happy to meet your needs. So with that, we do thank you, and we'll turn it back over to Nichelle or Veronica. I'm not sure which one we're going back to.
It will be me. Thank you all so much for amazing information that you've shared with everyone. I do see that we did have a couple of questions. And so, all right, I will throw these out. So let me see. All right.
I can hop in if you'd like. So
Okay.
I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I see that we had 1 in the chat and 3 in the Q&A. So for Gail's question, my understanding for the system is that if you are the bill holder and you keep that contact information correct, then the system will have it correct. If you're registering as a tenant, renter, or the non-bill holder, then you register in the system and you would update it there on the Charlotte Water Alerts page. I was able to do that myself. It's fairly straightforward. And then the next question, and thank you, Dave, for your engagement. I'm going to hop in for the water quality question you posed and the leak question you posed. So Dave asked if there were examples of the unregulated chemicals that we test for and why so many were unregulated. So the way that language is derived from, it's actually an EPA, it's EPA language essentially. So the EPA regulates drinking water quality standards for a series of what are called contaminants, which is essentially substances or chemicals or bacteria, things like that. But they do have a series of unregulated ones, and that's defined as essentially those for which the EPA has not established drinking water standards on those. And those can be found, a list of those can be found on our website as well as our consumer confidence report. But one example that I found that many people may have heard of is salicylic acid. So you might have heard of that. Many of them are very complex chemicals I dare not pronounce. I would have to practice pronouncing them, but that's all to say that language is derived. The regulated, unregulated comes from the EPA, and the reason why there's so many that are called unregulated is due to that federal level of regulation. And then this was a really great question, so thank you. Other than a visual ID of a leak, are there other ways of identifying a leak that's not visible? So one would be a drop in pressure, right? So a sustained drop in pressure. If you're experiencing that in your house, that's a sign there may be a leak in your immediate house or in the area. So if you noticed that, that's definitely something notable. Let's see.
I think we got 2 more questions. One from Bobby. I have a question about the valve replacement at the end of your neighborhood. At the end of our neighborhood. It was marked with a leak in April of last year, and I have not heard or seen any replacement for this since then. We have had numerous water leaks in our neighborhood that are a considerable concern for our residents.
Sure. Well, thank you for posing the question, Bobby. If you're willing, we can take your information and help follow up directly on the address and things like that to escalate to investigate that. And then The other question regarding the stormwater creek, we will also have to follow up with you directly. So if you don't mind posing a way for us to reach you, that would be great. Or we can give you an email. And then the Sheila's question about the stormwater grate. You're maybe formally not responsible for cleaning the stormwater grate in front of your house, but if you're noticing issues, it would be an active community member. You know, I'm sure the community would appreciate it, but that's also something, if there's major issues with it, you can report. I don't want to speak on behalf of stormwater, but my understanding is that's something that you can ask for.
I will go ahead and speak as well to the stormwater question, as well as the catch basin where the storm grate. Anytime you have an issue with the storm grate, you can call in to 311. We do have several different requests that we can put in, whether it's the grate fell into the catch basin, or even if it needs to be cleaned off, if you don't want to clean it per se. We can put in to have a street sweeper or someone to come out to actually clean that. And as well, with regards to the ditch that carries the stormwater, there would be some more questions that we would need to ask, but basically you can call into 311. We do have a request that we can put in with regards to a blockage that may be causing the storm ditch, the storm drain ditch to be overflowing, or it could be vegetation or whatever the case may be, but we can put that request in for you so that someone from Stormwater will come out and actually take care of that ditch for you. Let's see, and
I'll just add in that it's a safety concern as well, right?
Yes.
We want everyone to be as safe as possible. And
yes,
of course, when we witness a blockage like Keisha was mentioning in the street or in the in a creek or like in the storm bank, then that's definitely something we want to address, but safely.
Hey.
If I can, sorry, Nichelle, if I can jump in too, I was also, Dave had asked a question about a project happening along Monroe Road in the Oakhurst area. I believe that sounds like our Idlewild water project. Dave, I responded to you in the chat. I sent you a link to the project page. I think that's the area, but I also put my email address. If that doesn't look like your area, please send me an email with that information. I'll look into it and have someone follow up with you.
All right. Do we have any additional questions? You can type them in the chat or type them in the Q&A, and we can do our best to get an answer for you. And while I'll give you guys a few seconds with that, I did put in the training on demand webpage. I put that information in the chat. That's where the video will be in about 2 weeks for you all to go back and watch this video if you'd like to, or share it with your neighbors and your family, just so they can learn a little bit more about what we discussed tonight. In addition to that, I would say probably about 3 months ago now, Veronica and I and some other colleagues did a really great video on water conservation tips and tricks. So for those of you all that registered and I have your email addresses, I will send you all the link to that video, or you can find it on the training on demand page, but it's a great way for you all to get some information about how to look for leaks and some other tips and tricks. And it's a really fun video, so you should enjoy it. Did we have another question pop up? Okay. Is there any tests that you guys have to test the water that comes directly to my house? From Paola.
So we do not have a test that would be directly at your house, but if you have a water quality concern near your area, we have field sampling mechanisms to test the water in the surrounding area.
And how would she obtain that?
We would report it through 311, and they should be able to field that request for you via a series of questions and help get someone out there.
So y'all, we have a theme going. So contact 311. So you all have really asked some really good questions, and we hope that we were able to answer those questions for you. For those of you that shared your contact information, I took a screenshot of that, and just in case, I'll make sure that gets shared with who it needs to be shared with. If you have any additional questions, contact 311. But thank you all so much. And thank you to all of our presenters. We really do appreciate you all taking the time to share with us this evening. And this is how we collaborate with the city. We have CharMeck 311 working with Charlotte Water, just to provide you all with the best service that we can. So again, we appreciate you all, and thank you all. Have a good night.